Hello, everybody. Cal Banyan here. Cal Banyan's Hypnosis, etc. on calbanyan.com. And I've got Penny Chiasson back with me, and you're going to love her. And you can get more of her by watching the last 3 videos we did. And then I hope all of you will become VIP members of calbanyan.com. It is free. You get instant access to hundreds of free video training podcasts like this one on just virtually every topic in the profession. And let me tell you what I got here for you this time. Get solid, go deep, not wide. Don't be a jack of all trades and master of none. We're going to talk about how to get really good and keep from getting distracted. All right. So I was talking about Penny. Penny, I hope you've been watching the last 3 videos I've done with her, and you can even go back in time and watch some previous ones. Penny Chiasson is a 5-path certified hypnotist and hypnotherapist. She's also a trainer for 5-Path International Association Hypnosis Professionals. She is a medical professional, 25 years experience as a, nurse anesthetist. You know, before I knew that, I couldn't even say anesthetist, but now I can. I could probably say it 3 times in a row real quick, but you know, that would be boring. Except for me, that'd be kind of fun. Here we go. She worked in the medical profession for 25 years. And then, like I said last time, the Hypno Cupid shot a hypno arrow in her heart. She fell in love with hypnosis. She's been doing it full time ever since. Can you imagine that? Leaving a profession, we had 25 years because you fell in love with hypnosis, and she's doing a really good job because she's bringing in her knowledge of pain management, anesthesia, all that good stuff into the world of hypnosis, merging them together. She's got her own pain management program that also works really, really good concomitantly, I'm not saying that right, with 5-Path. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do? Very happy to have her as a member of the 5-Path International Association of Hypnosis Professionals. She is an author, she's a speaker, and here she is.
Thanks for having me back, Cal. I want everyone to meet the one, the only Cal Banyan, the Texas style living authority on hypnosis, hypnosis work, and a leader of really a movement in having a systematic process out there that allows us to take hypnosis a step above and beyond in the world out there. Cal Banyan, everyone.
Yay, thank you, Penny. Hey, so we were talking before the show, the program, and we were talking about how, look, we're both trainers, right? And we certified hypnotists, but you know, hypnotists are kind of like a young puppy. Young puppies, you'd be teaching them a new trick, right? And then they go, squirrel, and they're gone, right? God, whoa, come back here, you know? And that's what hypnotists are all excited about hypnosis. They get certified, and then someone says, you know, conversational hypnosis. Oh, really? NLP. Oh, really? Ericksonian. Oh, really? And then they start like a puppy dog chasing their tail, and they don't really get anywhere because they become, let me say it again, a jack of all trades, a master of none. It is much better to go deep than it is to go wide. You want to add something to that, Penny?
Oh, no, I think you summed it up perfectly, but we need to, I say need, if you want to excel in a profession, it's important to master a framework. And then if you want to add to it, or if you want to explore how other things complement that framework, you know that you have a solid foundational understanding of principles that allows you to do that intentionally. And I say that intentionally because once upon a time, I was that squirrel with the nut in the middle of Main Street, running back and forth, trying to
Not get run over
cars.
by the big old Mack truck that's coming at you.
Zoom, zoom.
Okay, cool. So let me tell you, so how do you do that? First of all, how do you stay focused? Well, you know, being really, really focused, like a laser, on something that isn't worth focusing on is a bad mistake. Make sure that you are trained and certified in something that's proven to work. And then you can throw yourself in. If you know what you've been trained in and certified works, you're not going to be so tempted to run off and train on something else. Now, I have lots of people that come into our training programs that are nurses, or they are social workers, or they are counselors or psychologists, all that stuff. They might be NLP people or Ericksonian trained, or they might have a background in conversational hypnosis. Five Path is not exclusive. It doesn't exclude any of those things. It becomes the bones, the structure, so that you know what you're doing all the time. So if you already have those skills, I also like to think of it as a Christmas tree. When you take your Christmas tree home, it looks like everybody else's Christmas tree, right? But then you start putting your family's decorations on it and your history, and it becomes your Christmas tree. That's the way Five Path is Five Path is Five Path. It's a structure, a hypnosis that works. And you can add things to it within the structure, but don't do that until you have the structure down. Okay, really. And guess what? Ericksonian works. If you go into Ericksonian class and you got an instructor and his students or her students have a history of being successful, then throw yourself into it. Get it down, then you can add other techniques. But so you need to find a trainer that is putting out students that are actually doing the work. I remember when I went through my certification training, there's 17 people in there. We all passed around a notepad and got each other's phone numbers and kept in contact afterwards. 17 people graduated. Only 2 people had the confidence afterwards to actually do something. And within a couple of months, the other one had stopped, and I was the only one left. Okay. The training was woefully inadequate. Fortunately, with my psychological background and my personality and my ability to stay hyper focused on something, I was able to make something of it. And then I went deep. I want you to think about, you got to get the right training. And another thing besides it having a history of working, so you can just ignore all the shiny objects for a while, right? Is there has to be community. There has to be community where you're seeing that other people are still getting success in a number of different environments. Anything you want to add to that? I've got some more stuff, but I want you to get a word in edgewise because I know how it is to be with me.
Yeah, so I love metaphor, and I want you to think about wanting to build a house. I could go down to Lowe's, I could open up a pro account, I could buy the 2x4s, the plywood, the moisture barrier, the nails, the shingles. I could have it all delivered to my house, and I could have all of that. I could be ready to go. I could have my tool belt, and Penny is ready to build a house. If I don't have the plans, and I don't know how to read the plans, and I don't have a foundation to build the house on, all I have is a lot of material and no way to actually use it. And Five Path is not just the plans, but it's got that solid foundation, so that when you implement the plan, you have a systematic way that you actually build the house. You're not just looking around at all of this stuff going, what do I do with it? And if you go through the Five Path training and you don't take the time to see several clients and really get that foundation in your bones and understand those principles, then you're just going to have a lot of stuff at your disposal and not have a logical, systematic way to implement it.
Absolutely. I'm going to play around with your metaphor a little bit, right? So there you go. You spend all that money on housing materials, right? And then, either you got your plans that don't make sense. Maybe they're in Taiwanese or something, or maybe they're too sketchy. They're not enough detail. And you go in the house that evening, you watch TV, and there's a commercial about mobile homes. You go, that's what I should do. And then you go spend some more money on a mobile home. But you still already made that big investment on all the house building supplies, and it was a waste. Even though if you would have had a good plan, you had a much better house than if you would have just said, oh, I'll take the easy way out and I'm going to buy this single wide. Now, this single wide mobile home, nothing wrong with that. I remember when Maureen and I were a young couple, we first moved to Minnesota. We lived in a single wide for a while, and it was awesome, right? But it's not what the person that we're talking about had in mind when they wanted to build a home. So they wind up getting scattered because they didn't have the instructions, the community, and the vision to be able to follow through. Another thing that you can do, and I'm become such a big proponent of this, is to have an accountability partner or someone that can keep you on track. Now, when I got into this, I had a built-in accountability partner. Her name's Maureen. Maureen is my wife, and I knew, she's always got behind me on everything, but I knew that if I went out and did that training, come back, honey, I want to be a hypnotist and and I want to have a hypnosis center, and I want to do this, that she'd get behind me on it. But if I wasn't successful, I would never hear the end of it if I want to do something else. So it was like, okay, I got to make this work. Now, the accountability partner is not the boss of you. It's just somebody, there's somebody, human beings, that when we tell somebody, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, we feel compelled that we should do that. And so accountability partner is not your boss. They're not a mentor. They're not a coach. It's just someone like if you're in class, you can say, hey, will you be my accountability partner? And you guys can both help to keep each other on track by implementing the plan from class. Have you ever had anyone do that with you, Penny, or recommend it?
I've taken on a mentor, someone who mentored with me in the past, and to take them through that. And I encourage my students to partner with one another, and they do so. And I've had several who, within just a couple of weeks after graduating, were seeing clients, and they felt confident to do so because they continued that practice
Yeah,
once things were done.
make sure I understand. So you served as a mentor to one of your students, right?
To one
See,
of my students.
and that's a step up from just an accountability partner. Accountability
Partner.
partner might be like a free thing. Like, you mind if I just check in with you once a week and tell you what I'm going to do the next week and that kind of thing. And if you're both from class, you can both kind of do it for each other. And then the other is like what Penny's talking about, and I do it too. And that is I'll work with grads who are willing to invest the time and money into meeting with me on regular basis to make sure that their technique is proper, make sure their questions are being answered, and to hold them accountable so that they will be able to make the steps. Otherwise, squirrel, and they are chasing some other thing. Awesome.
Yeah, could I quickly add something?
Please.
When you graduate and you've practiced for a few weeks and then you get ready to start seeing clients, by all means, don't expect perfection of yourself. Prepare and do your best. And competence comes, the more you do it, the more competent you become, the more confident you become, the more confident you become. And then you begin notice within yourself ways that you can grow. I think so many times graduates get lost in this perfectionism trap. They have to do it like you do it on the videos with Loretta. And that's just something to strive for. That is not the starting point.
Right. One of the things that I really think people need to understand is too many certification courses. The only practice they get, if any, in the course is to do an induction, right? And when I was talking about my woefully inadequate training when I started, it was 7 days training, and then the last day, like the last hour, the last day, handed us a script and said, "Here, practice hypnotizing each other." And so that was 1 hour divided by two people, which is like a half hour's practice if you were actually practicing. And if it was quality practice, but it was unsupervised. And what happens, you visit for half of it. And it was a waste of time. In our classes, every single day, you're going to practice, typically twice a day. And there's an exercise booklet where you're going to learn inductions, you're going to learn convincers, and then you're going to learn advanced techniques like age regression to a specific date and time, time tunnel technique. And then what happens is you learn how to do those exercises and you have a place to start. Once you get out of class, you can have volunteers and you continue to do those exercises, inductions, deepening, covert testing, convincers, age regression, so that you can actually feel a level of confidence and competence, so that when you start seeing your clients, you don't look like you're doing it for the first time. That would be bad.
Yeah, I had someone ask me once, how do you know that if I'm using uh, depth testing as a convincer, how do you know that puts me in the 1%? And just most of your basic hypnosis trainings do not do that and have the practice in depth the way that we do. I remember my basic hypnosis training. I had a wonderful instructor, but it was the progressive relaxation induction. I think the most in-depth thing we did was we did the Dave Ellman induction with the depth testing. And of course, I mean, that was challenging in and of itself, which is why I love our induction so much. We have our covert depth testing.
So I was teaching this class, and I had a physician in my class who was also loved hypnosis, and he'd been through a whole bunch of hypnosis trainings, right? And he said to me one day, he says, "Cal, do you realize the training that you're doing is really in the top 1%? And the students, if they do what you tell them and teach them to do, they are the 1%." And that's really where that concept came from, is that to have hypnotists that are able to skillfully take someone to a specific level of hypnosis, covertly test for it, do convincers, be able to do things like age regression, have powerful self-hypnosis like 7-path self-hypnosis, have the underlying understanding of emotion that comes with the secret language of feelings and our model of the mind. It's so much farther ahead. And that's why you need to go deep, not wide. Got to go deep. Don't be the jack of all trades, master of none. If you want to do Ericksonian, master it. If you want to do NLP, be a true NLP master, not somebody that's gone through a 2-day course or whatever. Now they're master NLP, master it. Be the best one in your community. And then 5-pathers, you master 5-path and you are a 1%er, one of the best in the world at doing hypnosis. You too can be an expert on hypnosis that works. All right. I'm the authority. You can be the expert.
Refresh my memory, Cal. When did you first develop 5-path? Was that back in 97 or was it 2000?
Yeah, I started in I got certified March 96 and was terrified for the next 6 months. Well, actually, I opened the Hypnosis Center in like July. And then for the next 6 months, just terrified. And then I read the book, The E-Myth, and got this concept of systems. And then just started putting it together over the initial 5-path was developed probably in the next 6 months. And then it's been ongoing developing and perfecting over the last 24 years after that.
Yeah, my intent behind asking that question is circling back to how you talked about the physician mentioned the 1%. It's only been in the last 10 years that due to electronic health records, that modern medicine is embracing what you began to put in place a full decade earlier.
Well, tell me about what they're doing to catch up.
Well, with the electronic health records, they can accumulate data across, the country and the world, rather than just individual hospitals looking at their individual pockets of data. They can look at greater data and basically implement universal standards and protocols, which is what they're doing right now with guidelines around vaccinations and that type of thing, so that everyone is following the same process to get those consistent results. And it's kind of mind blowing to think that McDonald's and franchisees and the airline industry have been decades ahead of the healthcare industry. Not to bash the healthcare industry, but just to show how far forward on the leading edge you have been with this entire process, and how you continually improve and update everything that we do, so that you talk about go deep, not wide. If you go deep and you stay focused, this is something that you're continually improving upon. It does not get stale.
Beautiful. Thank you. One of the things is, fortunately, I've been in technology like all my life. I mean, I almost got a dual degree in computer science and psychology. That was my mindset. And so, I mean, all the way back to when I first started training, and that's about 20 years ago, I created community online. I mean, for everybody went into our discussion group. And then I could see what I was doing a good job at training and how the training had to be fixed. So that helped that. Then I got to see what was working and what wasn't working, what was implementable and what not. And so that helped me to continue to develop the community, but also 5-path and 7-path. And I'm about to announce a whole new thing, and it's called 7th Path Forward to 5-path Community. So that's going to be exciting. All right. Another thing is, when you choose a trainer, there's too many trainers out there that just don't see clients. I mean, maybe they saw clients for, saw 12 clients, and then they got certified as an instructor, and they just don't have the knowledge and experience base to teach from. And I still see clients. And that is probably, I mean, 5-path continuing to grow, 7-path continuing to grow, the secret language of feelings continuing to grow, the 5-path community continuing to grow, comes from me being plugged into all those people. We're doing great things together. And then me having to walk the walk, not just talk the talk, and learning from our clients. People say, well, Cal, who's your mentor? My clients. Still seeing clients every week. Now, I don't see a lot of clients. I probably see about 6 sessions or 7 sessions a week. That's enough for me to keep growing, to have my street cred. I'm still doing it. And I'll tell you what, it's good income. I mean, it's not cheap seeing Cal Banyan. But I can probably get people there faster than most hypnotists. And so in the long run, even though I probably am more per session than 99% of the hypnotists out there, I will get you where you need to go faster. And I'm sure Penny's like that too, because she's really doing it. And the people I have on this as co-hosts are not your run-of-the-mill hypnotists. These are shining examples, be it like we just had Christian on, or all the way back to Celeste and Meredith. These are shining examples of people who really get it and are doing the work. What do you think about that, Penny? Shine on.
I appreciate that, Cal, and I agree. Your clients are your greatest teacher. Data and systems will drive you to success if you just take the time to pay attention.
All right. Oh my, how time flies when we're having fun. All right. I'll let you get that last word in, and we'll wrap it up for this time.
All right. I'm Penny Chiasson. You can find out more about me at pennychiasson.com. Thank you, Cal, for having me. Back over to you.
All right. You're awesome. This is Cal Banyan. Please, I got all my training schedules on calbanyan.com. Also, all my videos. Wherever you're watching this, unless it's on calbanyan.com, you don't have access to all my videos. The only place that has all my videos is calbanyan.com, VIP membership. What does that mean? You have, it's free, it's access to all the videos, and I'll send you a note each time we put out a new video. All right, that's it. Cal Banyan, signing off.